Well, good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Be With Me, 7 Minutes of Biblical Wonder. Subscribe at bewithme.us. And I'm just a little overwhelmed today. We are looking at a passage in John chapter 11, and it's really just very profound. So let me just get into it, and you'll see what I mean here. We're coming off a passage where Jesus says just about the most precious thing in the Bible. If there's another one, I can't think of it. Where Jesus says to Martha, the previous knucklehead, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And this is in the context of her brother's death and weeping and grieving and pain. And so Jesus has this interaction with Martha and then must say to Martha, go get Mary. So he's just outside of Bethany, which is just outside of Jerusalem. Verse 28 of John chapter 11. When she had said this, her belief, I believe, she went and called her sister Mary, saying in private, the teacher is here and is calling for you. Oh, what a sweet line. And when she heard it, she rose quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was still in the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary rise and quickly go out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to weep there. Now when Mary came to where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet, saying, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in his spirit and greatly troubled. And he said, where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Verse 35, John chapter 11, Jesus wept. So the Jews said, see how he loved him. But some of them said, could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man also have kept this man from dying? So let's start with the rainbows and puppies part of this. And that is verse 28. She went and called her sister Mary, saying in private, the teacher is here and is calling for you. So we have this person, Jesus, requesting the presence of one of his beloved, Mary, offering his presence, offering his person, and then actually requesting, join me, which is kind of the title of this podcast, by the way, Be With Me. The Lord is calling for us. He desires for us. He desires to meet us in the context of the passage in crappy times, in our thoughts, in our hearts, in the webs that we weave. So it's a great, it's a great touching thing. We can't get over this. The teacher is here and is calling for you. All right, verse 29, Mary, who's not a knucklehead, never has been a knucklehead, rises quickly and goes to him. And then there's misunderstanding because the people around her didn't hear what Martha said to her, so they think that she's going to the tomb. She's not. She goes the other direction, goes out to where Jesus is. Verse 32, and Mary comes to Jesus where he was, saw him, fell at his feet, and then says, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Same thing that Martha said. And that's not a rebuke to Jesus. That's not a challenge to Jesus. It's just an observation. They know his power. Okay, so here's the meat of the passage today. When Jesus saw her weeping, not that it hasn't been great so far. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in his spirit and greatly troubled. So this is a strong emotion that Jesus is going to fear. It's going to result, downstream of this is going to be his weeping, but let's talk about this for now. So the actual Greek means to snort like a horse or growl. So he's feeling something very strongly, indignantly, maybe even in anger and indignation. In short, I think a good word is that Jesus is kind of pissed off here. And the picture of this, I've seen this in my life recently. I have a friend that's a 4-year-old, and when she doesn't like something like, go apologize to your sister, or no, you can't play with that toy right now. When she has a feeling beyond words, she actually will growl. She'll go, "Argh." And I think that's a pretty good picture of Jesus here being deeply moved in his spirit and greatly troubled. So what is it that Jesus is angry about here? What is he snorting about? What is he growling about? And I think it's death. Death is going to be no more, Revelation 21:4. So, we have a world where we talk very frequently about surgery and medicines and doctors and vaccines and medical deductibles. Probably even today, one of those things will cross your path today. And in the future, when we are in heaven, and when you are in heaven, Lord willing, that won't even be no one will ever talk about those things. It will be gone forever. The tears will be wiped away. In the meantime, growling, fighting. So we have a Lord who is here and calling. May we, like Mary, jump up, run to him, rise, quickly go, and fall at his feet. And whose feet? What kind of a God do we have? One that sees our tears, comes to us in our grief, who is angry at this enemy, that it's the final thing that's going to be destroyed. It says in 1 Corinthians 15 that he growls and snorts and fights with us and come alongside of us. What a great God we have.